How's it going, everybody? Keaton here and welcome back to another video. A couple months ago, I was thinking about how to get more mentorship in my life. I had kind of reached a point where all of the people in my life, I had gleaned enough from them, and that probably isn't true, but I was looking for somebody else to learn from, trying to figure out what the best way to go to the next level is and find that mentor. And specifically, I was looking for a mentor who could help me have success in life and happiness, not just business, which in the past, the mentors that I've hired, the people I've worked with have been very business focused, and I've been somewhat successful in that area of my life, but I've struggled with the overall happiness and just life fulfillment because I've focused too much on this side. So I didn't really know how to go out finding this mentor, but I had been watching YouTube videos of someone named Abdaal for the past year or so. I had heard in one of his videos he had like this standing offer that you could go visit him if you were in the UK, which I'm living in London right now. And so I went to his website, kind of looked it up, and literally it just says on his website there's a standing offer. If you want to visit me, just email coffee@ahole.com and we'll set up a time if you come up to Cambridge. So anyways, I had a ton of questions. I was really enjoying the YouTube thing, but also kind of not at the same time, and trying to figure out exactly how I was gonna continue forward. And so honestly, if I hadn't gone here, I don't think I'd be making this video right now. Ahole really inspired me, and there was a lot of things that happened that day that really changed my life in a lot of ways, and we'll go over why that is. So this video will help you if you're thinking about going to visit Ahole, or if you are thinking about starting a channel or any kind of business. Really, we're going to talk about a lot of different things that Ahole told me personally that could really help you as well. And I apologize, I don't have any like videos or shots of me with Ahole. I just have like 1 or 2 pictures. Honestly, it's because I was too busy asking him questions. We were too busy having fun. So I took a train from central London at King's Cross up to Cambridge, which is about an hour, and got off the train, and there's this place that he tells you to meet once you sign up for a time. And so I went to the cafe. I was waiting outside for maybe 10 minutes, went to the bathroom, and then realized he was probably inside. So I went inside, and there he was. He was just like chilling in the back of the cafe, like waved at me, and there was already another guy there talking to him. So I had this picture in my mind. We were gonna go, we were gonna hang out, maybe eat something, and we were gonna talk for like 30 minutes, and he was gonna be like, oh, I'm so busy, like I gotta go back home. But that's not how it was at all. He just like waved to me. He's like, hey, how's it going? He was talking to this other guy's name's Iqbal. We had a ton of fun together, just us 3 talking. Iqbal is from Greater London as well. He's thinking about starting an online business. But anyways, we just started talking, and the first thing that really struck me is how organized Ahole is. He talks about this course called Building a Second Brain, which is taught by Tiago Forte. And in that course, I haven't taken it, but they teach you kind of how to create a completely separate entity outside of your brain that has all of your information. People that are really into it call it personal knowledge management. And Ahole has this second brain built in Notion. Every time I asked him a question, or every time he wanted to show me something, it was like he'd go to Notion, he'd click like a couple things, and then he was there, boom, like, oh yeah, I wrote this a year ago, and he knew exactly where it was. It really struck me. It was very, very interesting to see how organized he was, but it was also very helpful because every question I had, he had an answer for it, and he knew where to go. The second thing that I really liked about Ahole is just how humble and down to earth he was. YouTubers have a reputation for maybe being a bit pretentious or really prideful, and Ahole's honestly super down to earth, and he's really willing to level with you and just tell you how things are. And he's willing to give you advice on what you're doing wrong, what you could do better, but it's always coming from a place of just like, hey, you asked, here's this. He's not pretentious at all. If you've done any kind of business before, you know that most of the issues that an entrepreneur faces, or anybody trying to achieve a big dream, is just, it's between their ears. At the end of the day, all business issues are mindset issues. And what Ahole's really good at is just helping you realize that. So Iqbal was really like perseverating over the name of his YouTube channel, like, oh, I'm gonna name it this or that. And Ahole was like, just name it your name. That's what you should name it. And he just repeated that 5 or 6 times. And he was very kind about it, but he was like, there's not a problem. Like, why are you overthinking this? Was the subtext of that. But he said it very, very kindly. And same thing for me. I consider myself someone that maybe doesn't have a lot of mindset issues, but after talking to Ahole, I've realized how many I have, and just how simple most things are, and how we overcomplicate and overthink almost everything. So after we'd been talking for maybe an hour at this cafe, we actually went to another cafe because that one closed. Ahole was like, oh yeah, I was thinking I'd just invite you guys back for dinner. I can buy you dinner. We can hang out at my place. And I was like, really? Is this a joke? Like, I thought we were only gonna be able to hang out for like 30 minutes, but he was totally serious. We went back to his place. I rode my bike. Iqbal took his car. Ahole drove his car. He had like a 20 to 30 minute meeting with somebody at Skillshare. So we were just chilling at his house while he was on that meeting. And once he finished that, he was like, oh yeah, we should go play Frisbee. I love playing Frisbee. And so we took his Frisbee out. We were just throwing it back and forth. This was probably my favorite bit of the whole thing, just kind of talking about everything, life, relationships, religion, happiness. It was just cool to see how normal Ahole is, but also how his worldview is really helping him optimize for all of those things. I think you always learn more just being around someone by seeing what they do instead of seeing, you know, what they're saying or how they talk. He's an extremely happy person for a lot of reasons, and it's because he has been very intentional about how he's created his life. So after we had dinner and everything, I told Ollie, like, the thing that really strikes me is how much you run your YouTube channel like a CEO. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly how I run it. And I think a lot of us kind of think, you know, this YouTube channel is a part of us, or every single thing we do is a direct reflection on who we are as a person and all of these things. And, you know, that does reflect how we are as a person, but Ollie's just about like creating this content churning machine. And a little bit of a leak here, is actually coming out with a YouTube course about how he churns content out, how to hire the right people and how to put the right systems in place so that you can continue to churn things out. And I told him that I think that's huge. There's a niche in the marketplace for that, because the YouTube courses that I've taken, Graham Stephan edits his own videos, a lot of other YouTubers edit their own videos. I think Ollie has a brand that's gonna last longer than theirs, to be honest, because he's churning out a lot of content and he's just created this juggernaut that's doing all the work for him. And all he has to do is stand in front of the camera and say, hey, this is Ollie, I'm a junior doctor working in Cambridge, which now isn't actually true, but yeah. Another thing we talked about is hiring full-time people versus people that you pay hourly. And I asked Ollie why he had 2 full-time people working for him. And he said he was talking to a friend who's really into business, and he says the minute you hire your first full-time person, then you're actively searching for things for them to do instead of thinking, oh, I'll do this and I'll do this. It's kind of a big jump there, and you're not sure maybe if you're gonna be able to pay them, but once you do, you're able to churn out so much more content, do so many more things, that it just ends up making a lot more sense in the long term. And these are just a few more interesting bits. At one point I asked Ollie what his long-term vision is, and he said one of his long-term visions is to really build up his website, because YouTube, you know, they could eventually take his channel down. It's probably not likely. Instagram can do the same, any social media platform can do that, but your website is something that the government's not going to ban. Nobody's going to be able to take your website down. And so he's working on turning everything that he's created in video format and putting it into articles on his website so that he's much more omnipresent, which I thought was really cool. He really does want this brand to last a lifetime for him. Another thing that I found really interesting, this is more like an advanced bit, but if you get it, then that's great. We're talking about real estate investing versus investing in businesses and other things. And he said he was talking to this real estate investor who said, hey, you as somebody who has an audience, you have the ability to invest in asset classes that I don't. So most normal people are going to invest in real estate because that's what they understand. It's pretty easy. But over here, once you've built an audience, you have the ability to invest in asset classes like digital products, info products, you know, online courses, all these things that Ollie's doing. And by the way, he told us he made about 65 grand just last month from Skillshare. So Ollie's doing incredible things with his channel, but he has the ability to invest in those types of asset classes that normal people don't, which is really cool. It gives you a different way to think about investing. And the last thing I'll mention here is just how open Ollie is with his time. It blew me away that he was willing to spend like literally the whole afternoon with us. He was so kind. He bought us dinner. He bought us drinks at the cafe that we were at. There's this thing, my brother calls it rich a-hole syndrome, which basically means that once you become rich, you know, you don't have as much reason to talk to other people. And so you get your own gym, you know, you do everything from home, you work from home, you only associate with your family, you don't take public transport. And because of that, you become rich, but you also become very disassociated and you just like can't deal with normal people. And Ollie's not like that at all. And that brings me back to the very first question that I asked him, which was, Ollie, like, how do you do the doctor thing and the YouTube thing as well? Like, why do you do both? And he said, I want to diversify the things that might bring me happiness in life. I think that's an amazing way to look at everything, and he's doing a very good job of diversifying those things. And that's the reason that he's willing to, you know, hang out with people on a Tuesday night, because he's not just like this famous YouTuber. He is a doctor who also does YouTube, and it's just something that he does for fun because he wants to do it. And because of that, he stays much more down to earth and talks to people. I think Ollie has stuff figured out that a lot of really big business people don't. They might have way more money than him, which he has a lot of money, so that's hard, but I don't think any of them are nearly as happy as Ollie is, and he's doing a great job at just living a healthy, happy, productive life. Anyway, so this experience totally gave me new eyes on YouTube, on online business, on like how to diversify my happiness in life. And one goal that I've been thinking about since I talked to Ollie is that I want this YouTube channel to be a serendipity vehicle for me. I want to be able to meet people that are just like me all over the world. And so if you're in London and you're watching this, or if you're anywhere in the UK, let's meet up. And you know, I'm not nearly at the level of Ollie yet, but I would love to meet up. At the end of the day, relationships are the most important thing in the world, and I love making new friends. So definitely reach out to me. You can email me. The information is in the about section of my channel. And with that, I will see you in the next video.